Okay, hello everybody, Gaming Trix here, and welcome to my very first Starcraft video. And as you can see, this is a 1v1 with me in the upper right hand corner as Gaming Trix, obviously, and playing against Tom Swear. So yeah, this was just a random online game, guys, and I thought it was a pretty fun game. I played it actually a while ago. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I decided to just make a video of it, show you guys, and hopefully we'll get out some more StarCraft content soon. So anyway, let's take a look. And as you can see in the beginning, we just have a quick GLHF, and then we both started getting resources fairly quickly. I actually tend to go for a very early supply depot just to ensure that I don't get supply blocked while building wow, sorry guys, while building SCVs. I kind of forgot what they were called there. But anyway, so I'm not sure why. Okay, there we go. So my supply is now, I do have an advantage in terms of supply, and yet he actually seems to be just supply blocked at the moment, and he's actually got a lot of resources, so he should probably spend some of those. And as you can see, I'm getting up my first barracks already and starting to blockade the entrance a bit, and I actually sent back that other SCV to continue mining. So over here, Tom Swear has almost got up his first supply depot, so he's a little bit behind in terms of technology and stuff, but actually in terms of resources he is ahead. So not sure whether that's an advantage or a disadvantage. I generally like to make sure that I'm always spending all my resources, because I think it's more of an advantage to have units than to have just a ton of minerals. And I think that's generally accepted theory. So he gets his gas up pretty quickly here, actually. I decided to hold off on the refinery because I knew I was going to be playing a pretty marine heavy game here. And as you can see, I start sending out a pretty early scout, and he is mainly focusing on getting up that refinery and just continuing heavy mineral production, as he has got almost 600 minerals and I've got barely any. And in terms of income, he is far ahead of me at this point, because I was really just trying to invest, get up the barracks, getting up my second barracks already, and he's just putting up his second supply depot. So he's really kind of behind in terms of spending his resources. Yeah, so that kind of gives you quite a disadvantage early game. And as you can see, my scout is approaching his base. I guess I was deciding to just get up these barracks. I already got one soldier out, and if we just take a look at my army value, already 50 there, and that is definite advantage. I was just trying to make sure that in early game, before I got in, that scout knew what he was doing. I just wanted to make sure I was ready in case he had a very early rush, maybe even with SCVs, because I have seen that as a tactic before. Rush with all your SCVs and you can win a game like that. It's really kind of crazy. So anyway, he decides to chase out my SCV, and this is one thing that I like to do, which is, as my SCV leaves, if you can kind of get them off your trail, what you can do is, if they'll go away, you can just camp out right here, and that gives you the advantage because you can see what they're doing by just running in quickly, updating your frame, and then you can just run back out and you're safe. So he decides to continue on scouting while I move my SCV down here just to be a little safer. And he was trying to check to see whether I was expanding out to here, which I had decided not to. And actually, one thing that I tend to do is worry more about getting out an initial army, just because I do always worry about initial attacks. I wasn't too worried in this case, but I just decided to get that out. So I've got 5 troops already, which is a 250 army value. And getting up my third barracks, and as you can see, he's only got 1 barracks. He is opting for an early tech lab, which could be an advantage in this case, but it doesn't really end up being, because I've got so many Marines out already. And he's got 1 refinery, and though he's been getting gas for a lot longer, I've already got out both refineries almost. So it really isn't necessarily about how early you get up those refineries. If you know what kind of game you're going to play early on, you can really just decide to hold off on that and just choose what you want to do. So as you can see, I've got my 3 barracks up, and looks like I'm just going around with this scout here just to see what's going on, check to see if his scout is still there, making sure he hasn't put up another command center, just in case, because that would give him a big advantage in terms of resources. I didn't realize that he had a command center over here, actually, And what he didn't realize was I was actually building a command center in my base, and this is one thing that is really good to do if you're playing Terran. One thing is you can build a command center in the safety of your base and then just fly it out over to where you want it, and then maybe upgrade it to planetary command afterwards, and that tends to work out really well. It's much easier than trying to build it outside sometimes. So if we take a look at my income, they're actually quite similar right now, as after quick SCV production and a second command center is already up for me. I am a little bit ahead, I think. So I've got quite a good army value here as compared to him, with only a single Reaper. And it looks like he might be going for an early attack with all of these Reapers on my base, which could be quite a nuisance. But I have already got a significantly stronger army with 3 barracks, all rally to the same point each producing. So I think I was a little bit ahead there, actually. Oh. Uh-oh. Sorry, guys. I messed it up. Shoot. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I hit a key. As I said, this is my first time casting a game. So anyway, I decided to go for an early push after getting out a few more Marines. Yeah, I know, it skipped a couple. It skipped maybe 20 seconds, so I hope that's okay with you guys. So I started sending over my command center over there. I didn't realize that he'd already got a command center and a second gas, I guess. I'd already got 2 gases there. I decided to send out my army just to ensure that if there is an early push, the space will be defended, so that I can avoid worrying about having to upgrade to planetary command and wasting time where I'm not producing SCVs, because you always want to have SCV production, especially in early game. And as you can see, I've still got Marauders coming out of this one, and then we've got our Marines coming out here, rallied down here for some reason, not quite sure why, and nothing coming out of there for now. In terms of Tech Lab, I already started researching Stimpack, and if we go over here, he has not got anything going on in terms of research, but still opting to push with a few early Reapers. Not sure exactly what his plan is with those, but it looks like they might be going in for an early attack on my base. Not sure what's going to happen. And as you can see, in terms of economy, I am actually quite a bit ahead in terms of army, and also in terms of income, which is somewhat surprising considering the amount I spent at the beginning. But that beginning spending is actually quite an advantage sometimes, just knowing when to invest. And as you can see, I believe if we take a look at my perspective, I noticed him coming in there, or no, that's him. So that would be me. I noticed him coming in right there, and I decided to go in. He does take out all of my SCVs. Fortunately, I did manage to ensure that my army was there in just about enough time, so he wasn't able to get to my main base. And I believe that this is his last Reaper, and I decided to leave it just because I wasn't too worried about him going in with a single Reaper. If we head back to his other base here, you can see he started SCV production, and that is actually quite a setback. I filled up my queue with SCVs just to make sure that I would not fall behind in terms of production, and I've already got a secondary army back here at home, just in case he does decide to make an air push. I'm not quite sure why that's still rallied there. Don't know. It looks like I may have neglected production on those. Oh no, actually no. The reason was because I had slightly low minerals. I was just getting them ready over here to send out, just in case there's another push. And those Reapers seem to have really worried me, and he doesn't seem to be holding off. He's got a bunch more Reapers, and also seems to be switching his focus onto Marauders now, and actually finally building a second barracks. So that's 1 barracks to 3 barracks right now, and as you can see, my army value is just significantly higher than his, with a value of 1800 versus 350. And what he's got right now is basically an excess of minerals with 2300. That's really more than he's spending. Well, it's clearly more than he's spending. You should never have that many minerals this early in the game. You should be working on your army, working on production. And what he's really working on right now is getting minerals, getting as many as possible. And that's generally not what I try to do. And as you can see, in terms of income, we're actually about the same, because we do both have secondary bases. And really, that's the most important thing. His main advantage is in terms of gas, with currently 3 gases versus my 2. But again, just to restate, I did know I was going to be playing heavier on Marines and only a few Marauders, but with my gas income, I knew that this was sufficient to get out the Marauders I needed at the time. So if we head back over here, you can see he's got out quite a few Marauders now. His second barracks is complete with no tech lab or anything, and he still has not researched anything, which is quite a disadvantage. Also, in terms of supply, I am quite a bit ahead. He's only got 3 apparent supply depots, a few over here too. And he is finally building an engineering bay over there. I believe that mine has not... Oh, I already do have an engineering bay, and I have finished infantry weapons 1, which is actually quite an advantage early game, as of the fact that his infantry... Well, he doesn't actually have any infantry. So his infantry is 0, so that can be quite a disadvantage, especially very early on. And also my army value is still way beyond his at 650 versus 2600, and with already a very diverse composition in terms of army value, I did have a massive advantage at this point. So as you can see here, my frame rate is going down a tiny bit. Yeah, that's alright. Anyway, so I've still got up my 3 barracks, guys. We're just going to ignore the frame drops here. I don't know if you're seeing this, but I am. So I'm not worrying too much about producing from my factory, but as you can see over here, he has got quite a good economy going on, and in terms of income, he is doing quite well, though I am actually ahead even with only 2 bases. I'm not quite sure how I was managing to stay ahead. So as you can see over here, he is doing pretty well, but he does not know what I'm doing. He does get up an early Ghost Academy, and it appears he is going to go for a nuke. And if we just switch back to everyone's view, it looks like we are both doing pretty well. But again, in terms of army value, he is way behind with only a few Marauders and Reapers versus quite a large army with also medevacs coming out now. I mean, just having those 3 barracks at the beginning, 1 with a reactor, is a massive advantage in terms of just getting out units quickly and giving yourself an early game advantage. And my army is already at 3,100, and he's still only at 800. If we go over to resources, you can see he has still got an excess of minerals, and my gas has now gone into a bit of an excess. I am producing quite a bit of it, more than I need. And interestingly enough, if you look at our troop locations, he is right over here. I am right over here, but if you take a look at me, I cannot see this at all, and he has no idea what is going on over here, which is really interesting. So if we take a look, finally I decide to make a push, and I see what's going on there, and I do make a push on it, and I think I managed to take out at least 1 factory, and there we go, 1 factory goes down. He has got quite a few Helions there, which I am worrying about. These siege tanks are very powerful, but I do manage to, I think I managed to stim pack my Marines and take them out very efficiently. I decided to go around the entrance. I'm a little worried, but I don't see too much in terms of army here, so I decided to head over to his main base, and I did let my Helion go ahead just to scout it out a little bit. And as you can see, again, in terms of army value, I was significantly ahead, and I knew that I had the advantage here, so I decided to make an early push. I decided to head in, and I ended up taking out quite a few of his troops here, and I stim pack my Marines, just head in, and this ends up being basically the end of his army. So he's now got a 150 army value. If we head back here, in terms of economy and income, we're both doing still alright, though this is a massive disadvantage for him. And as you can see, I managed to take out his planetary fortress with my stim pack Marines, and now basically he's lost a bunch of SCVs. And if we look at units, I'm now, even though he's still got a lot of this space, I'm still significantly ahead in Marines and Marauders, and all he's got now is siege tanks and a single Marauder. So he has a massive disadvantage. I think you realize this, and he's starting to build barracks over here. He does have a lot of inactive Marines though, which is a serious problem. If you look at his APM, it is far too low, especially for this late in the game now. When there is an attack, he was just not doing enough at the same time. He's got 2 Marauders going out there, but with 2 Marauders versus we go back, that's still very low army composition. I decided to camp out in the middle. I was well aware that he probably had some sort of army coming out here, and I was worried that it was more than it was. It turns out if I had made a push right there, I probably could have done quite well. And if we just take a look at what I can see his 3 siege tanks there. No, I can see, yeah, I could see his 3 siege tanks. That's his view. he knew basically exactly what I had and what I was coming in with. And he makes quite a strong push there and manages to take out those. I managed to flank him actually. I attack my Marines again and managed to take out all of his siege tanks. This is a huge disadvantage for him. And if we head back into my main base, I've completely stopped troop production, as I am pretty well aware now that at this point in the game, with almost no army, he is just producing Thors and hoping that he can hold on to this. He makes a huge error in focus firing on my, what are they called? Medevacs. Yeah, he starts focus firing on my medevacs, which is definitely a disadvantage, and I needed to try to get around, but I wanted to avoid attacking the rocks, because I knew that that would just be a waste of time. What I didn't realize was how many troops I actually had in the medevacs, and this ended up being quite a disadvantage in terms of I could have worried a little less about supply, though I was doing fine. If I had unloaded these medevacs, I would have had a significantly stronger army actually. So as you can see, after this is basically the final rush with a quite strong composition of Fintac and Marines, and you can see exactly what I see. I knew he had a ghost pattern back there, but I wasn't worried too much about him nuking his own facility, and he's now basically stuck because as soon as he sends out a single troop, I have the advantage. And if we look back over here, he has not rebuilt anything on that front. So basically, this basically should have been GG for him. He didn't have a planetary fortress. He had a single barracks producing Marauders one at a time. There's really no way for him to win, and I'm not sure what NC is. Nice something? I'm not sure. Anyway, he continues to produce Marauders for a little while, not realizing... oh, I know. So, also guys, I don't know if you can see this, but he was pausing the game at the time. I think he knew that he was losing, and he just kept pausing the game, which was incredibly irritating for me. Yeah, so here we go. He paused the game here, and that is GG. He didn't actually say GG, so that's just the end of the game. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this first win. It was a very fun game. I had a lot of fun playing this game. And if you enjoy this content, please subscribe for more. And hopefully I'll be uploading a little bit more. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching the video. Gaming Tree X, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.